Welcome back to another episode of Cleaning with Chaos. If it's your first time here, just welcome. Now, before we get started on this, let me show you what I got recently. These were sent to me by Michael Marand. Shout out to him. I don't know if he has anything on his YouTube channel or not. If he does, go ahead and subscribe to him. I'll put a link down in the description. Now here is the first item. It's Betty and Veronica. It's in good condition. It's low grade, but you know, all of these are low grade. That's number 30. Archie's Girls, Betty and Veronica, number 30. There's Archie's Girls, Betty and Veronica, 39. The Pride and the Passion, it has some tape on it. One Cannon to Win a War. Look forward to reading that. I never got to see that movie. There's Archie's Joke Book magazine. This is number 39, so it's an early issue. Needs a little work. Who am I kidding? It needs a lot of work. Katie Keene, number 34. Again, needs a lot of work. Sad Sack Comics, number 84. This will go in my collection. I may clean it. I might do a little work to it. I don't know. Chick Young's Blondie Comics Monthly. Bad spine roll. Gotta fix that. Looks like it might be a detached cover as well. And Archie's Madhouse number 37. A lot of spine damage on this one. Probably a detached cover. Definitely needs to be cleaned. So, towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you 3 of these, and I want you to pick which one you think I should work on. So, there we go. We'll get to that in a little while. Let's get to this. When last I left this, I was getting ready to flatten the spine so I could do the spine roll removal when the top staple became detached. Now I could leave it like that, but I don't want to. I want to reinforce the spine a little bit to make sure that it doesn't get worse when I unroll the spine. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this bottom staple, detach the cover, flatten the comic, the inside of the comic, and then I'll do some minor spine reinforcement, and then we will reattach the comic to it and reform the crease. So, using my tool, it's one of the easiest ones I've done so far with this tool. I may need to reinforce the center fold. I don't know. Push that out. I really need to get one of those staple formers. I'll get to it someday. Alright, that's done. I'm going to go put this in my press, flatten it out, and then we'll get to work on that. I'll be right back. And we are back. Delco, you already had your treat. Be quiet. Get this nice and focused again. And go ahead and start working on with the mending tissue. A lot of people don't agree with me putting this on. They say, well, it's tape. You shouldn't put tape on comics. But number one, they're my comics. Number two, I really don't intend on selling any of them. And number three, if I do sell one of them, I give full disclosure. I let people know everything I have done to them. So, I figure as long as it's full disclosure, there shouldn't be a problem. I reinforced the bottom staple. Now I only use like a quarter to an eighth of an inch when I'm reinforcing just the staple holes or just small areas. I don't use a whole lot of this stuff. Just where I think it's needed the most. And I found I washed my bone fold tool finally. I've been meaning to do that for ages. And I finally did it. Yay me. This one's going to get a little bit bigger piece. I'm going to reinforce right there. Now this is where I've gone ahead and reattached that little piece that I tore off last video by accident. You know, this really needs to be reinforced throughout here. This is gonna tear. This is gonna break right along the seam there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and reinforce the whole seam, I think, or at least that whole section. And yeah, that's a bigger piece. But I think in the long run I'll be better off and the comic will last me a lot more years and I'll be able to read it without having to worry about it falling apart. Put some down here too because that looks really weak. That looks like it's about ready to tear off. So and like I said, there's people that don't approve of the way I do this, and that's fine. But I started with a low-grade book. I'm going to end with a low-grade book. I don't see a problem with that. If I send it off, if I were to send it off to CGC, it would still be a blue label, because it is a reversible repair. But I don't send stuff to CGC. And if I did, I certainly would send a low-grade book. If I was going to send something to CGC, it would be at least a 6 or higher. Okay, I just have to wait for that to flatten now. I might clean the inside of that a little bit. You know what? Where is my... Yeah, we're going to clean a little more on this. And I'm going to dig out a tool that I haven't used for a while to do this. This is a dirt and soot remover. I haven't used these in a while. Matter of fact, I haven't used them since I ripped the crap out of a comic. I highly recommend anyone that that has old toys or comics to get some of these. Because you can use them, I mean, you can use it to clean an old toy. If you have a toy that's in a box and the box is really dusty, this will take the dust off. And you can use them for comic books too. You just have to be real careful and don't press down hard, because this will grab the paper and it will tear the hell out of it. I know this from first-hand experience. I'm not going to dig out the video, but there is video proof that I have torn a comic using this. And I'm just going to use it to clean the inside cover. The thundering you hear in the background is not the weather, it's Delco deciding it's time to play. Which means he's going to attack me at some point. Which is fine. I actually like to use these on newer comics to just remove surface dust that, you know, hasn't had a long time to sit, because it'll just grab that dust right off. Now these stains here are not going to come out with the erasers or this or anything else I use, unless I go ahead and get out the Immaculate. I might try some Absorbing on it. In fact, let's do that. Yet another item in my kit. Absorbing paper and book cleaner. And if you've watched me for any length of time, you've seen me use this stuff before. Get it nice and pliable. And I'm just going to try it on the spine there to see if it'll take any of that discoloration off. I don't think it will. But it doesn't hurt to try, right? Lately I've been using this more for paperback books than I have for comics. And I use it on my big little books. We'll just go ahead and go over the whole cover. Now you can press down a little bit with this. And some people like to take it and sit there and try to use it like an eraser, like this. And that works too. I mean, there's lots of different ways to try to use it. I prefer rolling it myself, because when you roll it, you generally don't end up with a lot of pieces that come off of the ball. Yeah, it's not doing a whole lot, but I think it looks better. But you know, what do I might be a little biased. All right, it's going to take probably a couple hours for that to flatten out. Since I'm not using the iron on it, I'm going ahead and using it, putting it in the press. So, yeah, we'll be back in a little while. For you, it'll be, you know, a couple seconds. For me, it'll be a few hours. And we're back, and we should be ready to reattach the cover now. So I'm going to set this off to the side. It's kind of flat. I'm probably going to go over it with an iron anyway. And first thing I need to do is take out this top staple. And I think I'm going to go ahead and reinforce at least the bottom centerfold, because this looks like it's starting to tear just a tiny bit, and it could use a little reinforcement there. So we take this out. And of course you've seen me do this before if you've been watching my videos for a while. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take a very small piece of my mending tissue, if I can find it. What did I do with my mending tissue? $64 million question. Ah! That's what I did with it. Someone, cat hair. Looks like someone decided to play while I was in the other room. Delco, you don't know enough about fixing comics to be messing with this mending tissue. No, you don't. You think you do, but you don't. And now I got to find the end of it again. Oh, I hate when I have to do this. I have to find where the end of the tissue is. Am I even on the right side? Yeah. I don't remember that much of it being off. Should be right down in here somewhere. Okay, I'm going to find this and then I'll come back. And I'm back. I found the end of the mending tissue. cut a little piece off that I'm not going to use because it got folded over. Cut a little piece off that I'm going to use. A very small piece. Just to reinforce that staple hole. And then make sure the staple hole is still there. Because it would not be good if there was nothing for the staple to go through. Alright. Next. Now we will put the top on first. Let me go ahead and make sure that goes all the way through. Yes, it does. And on the bottom. Which is the one that I... Okay. We are in a good position. Let's start with the bottom one, which is the first one I removed. And it's not wanting to go through. Okay. Why isn't that working? Okay, I got it aligned. Ah, staple is not straight. That should help. Sorry that you can't see what I'm doing because of my fat hand, but that's the way it goes. Okay, the bottom one's in. To make sure this one is straight, see how that's angled down? If it has to be straight out or it won't go in properly. That's what the problem with the bottom one was. Same with this one. Has to be straight in. I really need a pair of pliers in here. I just bought a brand new kit and I don't know what I did with it. It's got like 3 or 4 different types of pliers. It's actually a jewelry making kit, but I'm going to be using it for other things. But it had all those small tools that I need for working on stuff. Line the staple up with the existing holes. And it just went in without any trouble at all. Not even have to put any pressure on it now. Take it off the styrofoam. And as you can see, the staples are in exactly the original holes, which is what we want. And I'll fold them down using my thumbnail like I always do, and my fingernail. And again, use my thumbnail and my fingernail. And the comic is back in one piece. No one the wiser that it had to be put back together. Now I can press it. But when I press it, I'm going to make sure I have the new you know what? I'm not going to press. I'm going to iron it first and then I'll press it. I'm going to iron the crease in and then I'll press it. So let me get the iron set up and then we can go ahead and do that. All right, I put a piece of, this is like millimeter particle board. I put it down. It's actually the backing to a poster frame that I have, but I haven't gotten around to putting the poster in this one yet. It's another one of the Vampirella posters that I have. So, yeah. I went ahead and used that. This next thing I'm going to put down, this is just a piece of the silicone, like a baking paper. It feels rough, but it doesn't make the comic rough at all. So I'm going to put that down next. And then I'm going to put down this, then the comic, and I'm holding it where I want the edges to be. Then I need another sheet of my parchment paper, and this stuff is okay, but silicone paper is much better, and I just don't have any right now. I need to buy some more. I mean, this is okay for what I'm using it for. And then I'm going to put another piece of silicone, or another one of the silicone sheets down, and I'm still holding it where I want the edges to be, and then we're just going to take and then I'm going to take the whole thing, pick it up, turn it over, check to make sure my edges are still where I want them. I'll have to turn it towards me to see that. Make sure that edge is still where I want it. Not quite. Now I could use clips to hold this together. Okay. And where's my sheet? Where's my plexiglass? I lost it. Oops. Yeah, that's not good. I wanted to let this dry by putting a little pressure on it, and I can't find my little sheets. But I do have my graph paper notebook. So I'll put that down to hold it in place, and then we'll put a weight of some sort on it. It doesn't have to be heavy. That'll work fine. We'll come back and look at this in a couple hours. Okay, I had to take off one of my lights because it was oversaturated. So this might seem a little dark, but it looks okay on the computer monitor, so hopefully we'll be okay. As you can see, I added a little additional weight. The purpose of the weight is to make sure that the crease, the new crease that I put in for the spine takes, that it sets. It's been about 5 hours since I did this, so it's been sitting there for about 5 hours. That should be enough to hold it for now, at least so that I can show it to you. So we'll take all this stuff off. I still have not pressed it. I'm still going to do a press. I'm not going to bother showing you that though. But as you can see, it appears to be sitting fairly flat. Let me zoom out just a little bit. And there's no... Yeah. There's no more spine roll. So I'm going to go ahead and press this. And that'll be the end of this portion of it. But, you know, I probably won't press it today. So I'm just going to stick it in Mylar. And actually, this will probably be fine because there's not that many creases or dents or anything in it. So I'll just stick it in the Mylar. I'll go ahead and put my my plexiglass on it, and maybe I'll even clamp the plexiglass together. I want that crease to sit in there for a couple of more days. Although sitting in the Mylar like that, it'll probably take anyway. I have never had one that I did this to put it in Mylar where the crease, where the spine roll came back. So that'll probably be okay. Let's go take a look at these now. These are all the comics that I said I would talk about. I haven't taken these out of the bag, so I really haven't examined them. I know this one has a lot of serious problems, and it's probably going to be a long one, but it's got a lot of dirt that I really want to take off, and it's got that horrible spine roll. So that's one that I definitely want to consider. This one I'm going to do, but I worry a little bit about the blue. I need to do just a small portion of the blue with my Immaculate and see if it takes it off. If it starts taking the blue off, I don't want to do it. That one's not too bad. I mean, it's in rough shape, but it's not. It presents pretty well, and I don't want to clean it right now. This is one I want to work on for sure. And maybe this one. So these are the three. And what I want you to do, we're going to have to zoom out some more. Whoa. Yeah, see if I can get it to all fit on the screen at once. These are the four that I'm interested in working on. The Katie Keene has some serious problems. It's got a tear here that comes all the way down to the bottom K. The page is wrinkled down, so I'll have to straighten it out and clean it up, and then probably do some taping or some yeah, it needs a lot of work, but I really want to work on that one. Matter of fact, that's one of the reasons he gave me options of what to send him, and one of the reasons why I included that was because I want to see if I can fix this. That's going to take a while to do, but I'm willing to do it, you know. This one, it's pretty much just a clean press. Maybe try to get this pencil off if I can. That's pressed in there, so I'll have to use my steel ball to get it out. And this one, the spine is all messed up. It's going to have to be reattached to the cover, or the comic is have to be reattached to the cover. I'm going to have to repair some of the inside as well as the cover, and it needs a cleaning desperately. So let's take a look at the back of this one. All of these eventually will get worked on. It's just a matter of which one I'm going to start next week. Yeah. Oh wow, this is bad spine roll. It's in pretty bad shape. As I suspected, it's detached from the cover. So, yeah, there's that one. Let's take a look at this Katie Keene, see what I'm getting myself into. Yeah. By the way, that Archie's Madhouse is from 1964. This Katie Keene, I think, is from the 50s. Whoa. Yeah, 1959. It's actually attached. It is not detached. So I might be able to just, you know, kind of straighten this out and slowly iron it up until I get it to where I can press it. Maybe put a small piece of mending tissue there. It is missing a little bit of the cover here. Or is that just folded over? It might just be folded over. Yeah, it's just folded over, so that part of the cover is still there. This part is missing here, I believe. Yeah, that appears to be missing completely. So that, and clean, of course. So that's another option. And finally, Betty and Veronica, and this one, it just needs a clean and a press. It has a mild spine roll. It's not that bad. And when is this one from? (1957). So this is 1957, 1959, and 1964. So, yeah. If I can make a poll, I'm going to make a poll on which one to do. If I can't make a poll, then just put it in the comments which one you'd like to see me work on. And I will work on that one first. I'm going to do all three of these over the next month or so. I don't know how long it'll take me to do any particular one. But I will do all the work on camera. So it's going to take a while. And I might work on more than one at a time. I don't know. So there we go. That's your choices. That's my video. Make sure, before you handle your comics, you wash your hands. It's good for your comics. More importantly, it's good for your health. Once again, we want to thank Michael for sending me these wonderful comics. These were not free. It wasn't an A-OK. I'm giving him credit towards purchases at a later date. I'm crediting him with the comic. I'm giving him credit for the comics and an additional credit for the the postage, so I am reimbursing him for the cost of these. These were not free. They weren't A-OKs. I just wanted to make that clear, so you people know I'm not ripping people off. I'm not stealing from people. I'm going to offer him a what I think they're currently worth, and there's 7 of them here. So yeah, I'm going to go from that, and I will probably send him that today, sometime before my live stream. So there you go. That's my video. Make sure you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tonight on my live stream. Bye. Don't forget, check out, maybe subscribe to my Patreon.